Backseat Maniac. There's a girl driving down the I-70. She's returning home from her trip to visit her relatives. It's about 1 a.m. and she realizes that she's out of gas. She sees a sign that shows a gas station about 3 miles up the road, and she breathes a sigh of relief. Thank God. And she gets there. There's an old disfigured man that comes to help her, and she's a little wary about it, but she goes with it because she needs to get gas for her car. And the guy asks for her credit card, right? And he brings it inside, and then comes back later shortly saying the card's been declined, and she reluctantly enters the gas station. And once she enters, the man starts telling her something, and she freaks out and hits him over the head with an oil can that was on the counter. She runs back to her car and starts driving, and she sees in her rearview mirror a man with an axe, and it was the last thing she ever saw. The old man was just trying to warn her.
Ever since Julie was about 8, when she first got her puppy, anytime she would feel scared or alone, she would put her hand under her bed, and her dog would lick her hand to comfort her. Julie was about 14 now, and her parents left at 8 p.m., and they were going out for the weekend. So Julie was alone. After about an hour of watching TV, she decided to go to bed. Because who doesn't go to bed at 9 when their parents are? Anyway, she went to bed at 9, and she was a little scared, sleeping at home alone for the first time. And she hears her dog whimpering, as if her dog can kind of sense that she's alone and scared. So she sticks her hand under her bed, and the dog licks her hand. Now, throughout the night, she wakes up to this whimpering sound. So she keeps sticking her hand under the bed and getting her hand licked by the dog. In the morning, she wakes up, goes outside, and realizes that the dog has been outside all night long.
Don't turn on the lights. 2 college girls out for a party. We can see where this is going. One girl notices that her purse is missing, and she goes back to her dorm to go grab it. Not turning on the lights. She goes back to the party. Everything's alright. Then later, the second girl decides she's tired, goes to bed. Goes to bed a little early that night. Next morning, the first girl shows up. There are cops everywhere. They say there's been a murder. She forces her way in, and on the sheets, it says, "Aren't you glad you didn't turn on the lights?"
Woman. Tom left the party. It was about 12:30, he would say, and along the rainy road he took to get home, he notices a young woman in a long white dress. So he stops and offers her a ride. She climbs in and they chat for a bit. Just small talk to keep the conversation going. And he notices that she is shivering. Dog matches. He notices that she is shivering, so he offers her his jacket. When she accepts, she drapes it over her shoulders. And when they arrive at her house, Tom turns to her to say something, say goodbye. But he notices that she's not there, and he quickly dismisses it as she just ran inside, hurrying along because it's 1 a.m. So, he decides he'll just get his jacket tomorrow. So the next day, he drives back to the house since there was no number to call. And he knocks on the door and an old woman answers. And Tom describes the young lady he dropped off there. And the old woman breaks down in tears because her daughter that had died 10 years earlier matches his exact description of her. So, he explains to her that he gave her a ride home last night. He knew he did. And he was just coming to get his jacket back. So, she tells him that she's buried at the cemetery. And when he goes there, he notices on her tombstone is his jacket.
Welcome in. Susie and her mom were on vacation, and they were headed home when they decided that they would stay one more night, and they found the Welcome Inn. The old lady that ran the shop was in a bit older, or like not so mainstream clothes, and she excitedly welcomed them in with open arms.
So, the old lady had accepted them with open arms, and after a nice warm meal, Susie and her mom went to bed. And when they awoke, the old lady was nowhere to be found. So, they decided just to leave a thank you note and some money on the counter. And she'll pick it up when she returns.
So they make their way to the local gas station the next morning, and they talk to the gas station attendant and told them about what a wonderful stay they had at the Welcome Inn. The gas station attendant looks a little confused, takes a step back, and says, "That place burned down 20 years ago."
So, in disbelief, they drive back to where they had stayed, and they just see a shell of a house and a singed sign saying, "The Welcome Inn."
Good. Amidst the rubble, they find a table that holds the envelope and the money. Whoops. Let me just...
Spooky, scary skeletons and shivers down your spine. Shrieking skulls will shock your soul, seal your doom